Good evening and welcome to Bendat Stadium. Here we have round 4 for the men's open division. We've got the home state, West Coast Thunder, up against their arch nemesis, the Victorians. It's going to be a great battle out here on court tonight. My name is Mandy Love, and joining me, a fellow Victorian, Matthew Bomley. Matt, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I'm really excited about this game. Can you run us through the Victorian starting 7 lineup?
All right, for Victoria, in goal shooter, Cam Allen. Goal attack, Brodie Roberts. Wing attack, Jaden Cowling. In centre, Australian player Riley Richardson. Wing defence, Tim Melmo. Goal defence, Al Punchin. And in goalkeeper, Josh Byron. Now, we better get through WA because we have been known to forget the second side.
Yes, we do.
Goal shooter, Jerome Gilbard. Goal attack, Dylan McPherson. Wing attack, Mitch Purser. Centre, Connor Rawlings. Wing defence, Stewie Burton. Goal defence, Draven Lee Tarua. And goalkeeper, Dan Cools.
And straight away, the West Coast Thunder getting a turnover through the defensive duo of Lee Todua and Dan Cools. So great early start here. McPherson with the feed. He'll look to offload. And great goal there by Jerome Gilbard for the West Coast Thunder.
Already showing his cool, calm nature that he is well known for, and many people would have seen across the Australian series recently.
And just a miscommunication there. So Victoria looks like they get the break back. Can they convert this pressure into points? So Punchin looks long. Richardson connects in. Good use of the fake or the book pass there. And Brodie Roberts lines up. And nice little round the body pass there.
Yeah, lovely little offload, Brodie. He has added that to his repertoire in the last couple of years and very good at executing it.
So a lot of Australian men's players out here on court today representing both sides. Oh, that was a nice opening by Roberts, just taking Lee Todua just enough out so that that could be placed into Allen. McPherson strong off the line. Purse has been really safe leading up so far in this tournament. That just gone found missing where the West Coast Thunder attacked the attacking team.
Got to take it out of that 2 hands above your body. That's where the hesitation comes. You're only showing one option.
Yes.
Get it back into the one, or just turn your body.
And we like to say sort of like finding it in neutral, keeping the ball in neutral. And great tip by Lee Todua, doing everything he can. Is that a footwork call?
I think it might have been a little bit quick off in the takeoff. A couple here, there and everywhere. Oh, no. Looks like it was called a contact. Just a late reaction, perhaps. Maybe obstruction.
Who knows? Goal scored. Brodie Roberts on the board. And looking long. Coming through the middle is Allen and plays on very quickly.
That was very well done to release there. Stewie Burton's terrific as a wing defence at keeping pressure on, but somehow Jaden got through the hands.
So 4-1 in favour of the Victorians. Oh, right idea, but Punchin.
Oh, you'd love to see him fly like that. He's such a delight to watch on court for Victoria and Australia.
Look, he has many fans here over the course of the week, and looks like Dan Cools comes out for a fly as well.
Speaking of people who are great to watch fly, Dan Cools is very nice on that angle.
Yeah, they do that nice little pulley system here in the West where one takes the front. If one goes out, someone's coming straight in. They've got a really great awareness of where they are. And Burton looking to the umpire for a potential contact charging, but can't get caught up in that already early on. So the physicality being brought here by the Victorians.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how this WA defensive combination goes. They've really built over the last couple of years and are deadly down there. How they'll go at stopping the Brodie Roberts and Cam Allen combo.
Look, I think Victoria definitely have earmarked this game. This is a game that they want. You can see the desire and the intent here today. They didn't play earlier on today. They did have the bye, so they are running fresh. Still not an excuse, though. WA still need to keep up with them, but it's a 6-1 sort of goal differentiation at the moment. Purse are strong in the contest.
Yeah, clear indication that their intensity had to be stronger than it has been the last couple of games from Victoria. Very clear.
And they've got some inside scoop. Is that how we got come up with that little analogy there, or is that just a general analysis?
I just knowing Jared Murphy the way I do as a coach, no, he wasn't happy with the intensity at different stages yesterday, so I dare say that was a very strong comment to him.
I must say, looking at the results from the earlier rounds, I was A bit surprised seeing the results not in the favour of the Victorians, but, you know, this is the beauty of tournament. And each of these Opens teams play each other twice, so there is a vengeance game or a round 2 game yet to be played as the week progresses.
And we've got to remember for Victoria, this is quite a different lineup to what we've seen for the last few years in terms of there's a number of younger players in there. They had their first opportunities and debuted as Cam Allen scores a wonderful another goal for Victoria. And they're going to be slightly different at the tournament than what we've seen.
Absolutely. And, you know, this is a space that West Coast Thunder Open Men's really...
Stewie Burton.
Just that tight man-on-man marking to get that intercept was great to watch. Now they must convert.
For a guy that used to be such a brilliant goaler, geez, he's made wing defence his own.
Oh, yeah, he really made the intention to make wing defence his own. And Rawlings just spills that over the baseline. And as I was saying just a tad earlier, West Coast Thunder have been very dominant early in quarter one in these games. So I think they're finding themselves in a very unique position. They haven't been here before so far this week, so it'll take them a bit more to settle. So
it'll be interesting to see how they rise to the challenge
and
as
how
well.
they react to it. Yeah, that's what I'm excited to watch.
Because certainly the battles between these two sides have been quite the ones to watch at the last championships and when Victoria have come across for a couple of training matches.
Yeah, absolutely. And already we see Mitch Purser coming off and rolling on is Jason Hurd in wing attack. So let's see what he offers to this front line.
You would think this should offer a bit of steady. Jason Hurd's got a bit more experience through that wing attack as his position. Really become that great opens wing attack that we're seeing.
Connor Rawlings just getting out-muscled against the centre here for Victoria.
Yeah, Riley Richardson has been doing some work in the gym, so it's good to see him actually having physical because he used to come off a bit second best from that.
Yeah, so nice work by the Victorian defence team, just patiently bringing it down. Goes long.
Oh.
And, the defenders are getting a touch to it, but, you know, they need to just rip that ball in.
That was such a tough ball to give. Alum nearly made something of it. You can't let that near Draven.
No. Anything in the aerial space, and that's why it shocks me when you know that you've got really aerial defenders, why you'd float that pass in the air. You must be supremely confident in your pass and your receiver. So,
or slight panic.
Yes, slight panic. And, you know, I don't think the crowd here were expecting this 9-1 lead in favour of the Victorians.
Yeah, certainly out a lot more than we would expect. Off to a reasonable scoring rate here, Victorians as well. 7 minutes in, scoring 9 goals. Certainly means they're on target to be pushing towards 20 at that quarter break.
So again, critical moment here for the West Coast Thunder. Gilbert comes out. I like that he didn't throw that ball straight into the circle and found that connection. So McPherson lines up. High release and just off target.
And they had tough hands to go across the Punch and Byron combination. Both with a lot of experience in the circle.
And cross the transverse line. Here come the Victorians finding the pocket space. Oh, you can't afford Roberts to just look at their entry into the goalpost.
The way Brodie Roberts just cruised for a moment, read the situation, and then put it on.
Yep. But that space was almost gifted to him as well. So it'd be interesting to see what defensive strategies West Coast Thunder put in place just to shut him down.
Oh, I think we all know where Brodie wanted that ball.
Yes.
Just didn't quite open in time. Terrific defence.
And Victorians very happy with their start to the first quarter here on show court number 1.
WA have got to do something different to get it through their attack, clearly. Gilbard's got to get that ball in circle, turn, go to post. We know he can sink it. He's got to be the settler for them.
And there's McPherson and gives him a slap on the right thigh. Can that be the spark for the West Coast Thunder, lads?
We need to see an increased workload from McPherson out front for sure. But get the hands of Gilbard for the shot.
There we go. Lee Todua.
Oh, unlucky.
And asked about the contact from behind and didn't get anything from our officials. So Victorians getting the run of the mill with the calls.
And it may have been a case that the umpire saying that he'd actually jumped from out of court prior to any contact occurring anyway. Ooh.
And that one just dribbles in for the Victorians. So West Coast Thunder, how do they respond? And, you know, the step on from Dylan McPherson, you know, through the hands, really affected that final execution of the pass. Usually so safe.
might be just getting a little bit frustrated there, Dylan McPherson. We've seen him traditionally out the front in centre. That might just be one. I need to get hands on the ball a little bit more.
Yeah, and he's trying to ask questions while the play's down the other end. So 14 plays 2. Not the start West Coast Thunder we're wanting.
But if you're watching at home, I would not be ruling out WA by any means. This game or any other one, home crowd can very much play a role.
So I'm interested to see any positional changes that we have. You know, they've got Maddie Brown and the likes of Elliot Clark on the bench in terms of goalers. Do we look at the Maddie Brown, Jerome Gilbard connection
deadly
here?
Combination.
And potentially moving Dylan McPherson out to, say, the centre role or even a wing attack role, and transitioning Jason Hurd into the midcourt.
I don't know if Matty Brown's planning on taking the court today. He is one of our older players taking the court, but geez, his experience, his size
just his
to
impact.
Get around, and he's always been so accurate.
And also from range too, like he's not your traditional just post-up shooter at the post. He will be very deadly, but you know, looking at these, like the VJs on these two Victorian defenders, that is going to be very hard if the direct post is up. Does it sort of feed right into their hands? But, you know, 15-3 scoreline, something's got to change.
And that's a very strong body that you're then working around.
And offensive contact. And much to the delight of the crowd, they're excited about that call.
Yeah, Draven solved that very nicely, which sometimes you've got to do. You've got to let the umpire know that, hey, maybe I had a little bit of something in my back.
Yeah, but had a bit of a niggle. Did you sight that? Or long ball into Gilbard. And baseline drive.
And here's a perfect opportunity for WA to
and
really...
look at them jostling for position. And Byron doing his best to get around the body. Couple of little love taps there around Gilbard. And played off the post.
It was very close to the short pass off the post. Gilbard's always been very good at the pass off the post, but...
See, I thought that was a soft contact call.
Compared to some of what's going on and
yep.
what we expect from a men's open division, it's generally going to be quite physical.
And Josh Byron goes for a swan dive in back play.
Oh, those terrific eyes into the circle. Just seeing the brief moment Draven had his eyes down.
Lee
But
Totola.
what a fight for the rebound.
You know what? I love seeing Lee Totola when he gets really competitive like this, because he just elevates his game to another level. And
he becomes scary.
It's very scary. And I love watching it in person live. So I hope it's translating for the viewers at home, because he's just such an athlete. Was rewarded MVP last year of the tournament. Was also rewarded with Australian men's selection as well. So.
And he had a terrific series against New Zealand. Really played well at every single one of those matches.
Can swing both ends as well, so he is another option for Coach Lorraine Ward in the goal circle, but
it takes so much away from the defensive circle.
Away from and you know, this is with the three Australian defenders with Stewie Burton on the wing, and it's a scoreline like that. So, you know, the front line for West Coast Thunder really need to sort themselves out.
Absolutely. And we've got to recognise the fact that they are up against the Josh Byron and Al Punchin, who have defended for Australia themselves together.
Exactly.
Back when Josh Byron was a New South Welshman and saw the light to come down to the navy blue.
And McPherson delivers another goal. So that's 4 for the West Coast Thunder. Oh, nice quick turn and release from McPherson. But there's just a wall of navy blue, like you said, and just the passes just push that extra bit by the West Coast Thunder. Jerome Gilbard just maybe getting frustrated down the backhand as he sees his team just not doing what they want to do.
Yeah, and he's not someone who shows heaps of emotion on court, Gilbard, so you know it must be really frustrating him to show that bit of emotion. He's normally very cool, calm and collected.
And they just need to keep their defender occupied, because, you know, they like to do the space marking.
That was a beautiful little move then.
Yep.
Drawing the contact.
And they've got to draw these contacts all game. So they've got, 60 minutes of netball and great elevation, but equally great goal from Dylan McPherson.
And McPherson clearly knows that he's up against people who can get up in the air. He's very conscious of that high release and the high finish.
Yeah, Lee Totola just leaving Roberts alone. And the left hand goes up, not taken, but Lee Totola cleans up the scraps.
Yeah, slightly off balance there, Roberts.
Outlet to Burton into McPherson.
That was like a volleyball spike down.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Victorian defenders, their 3-foot mark is getting a lot of deflection, so they're interrupting the flow that West Coast Thunder like to play this really quick up-tempo netball down the front end, and the Victorians just aren't letting them.
And the thing is, even with that 3 feet that we're saying of it, I would say they're actually back around more 4 or 5 feet. They're giving themselves plenty of room, so they're not even pushing that distance too much. If they even step it up a little bit more, it's going to be even tougher.
You know, I thought if they had scored here, it could have been a bit of a mini momentum shift.
And WA really would have wanted to score that one going into the break. Lorraine Ward wouldn't be happy that they haven't scored off that last minute.
I kind of like the fact that Lorraine Ward hasn't made any changes in this quarter, though, apart from the wing attack one that she did early.
Let them sort it out.
Yep, let them sort them out. They're responsible for their scoreline, so they need to do the work.
And realistically, even with rolling subs, team out on court still has to sort out what's going on.
And that's another goal for the Victorians. So end of the first quarter, convincing start for the Victorians against the home state, West Coast Thunder. They currently lead 16 goals to 5. What does head coach Lorraine Ward do? What strategies, what positional swaps does she make? Stay tuned with us and we'll tell you straight after this. AMMNA Championships 2023, proudly supported by Bladen WA, Great Temptation Sweet Treats, Spudshed, West Coast Fever and Netball WA. The Victorian state teams are also proudly sponsored by DMAC Apparel, Metro Plumber, Inspire Netball Group and VMMNA Junior M League. Welcome back to Bendat Stadium. It's Men's Open here, round 4. My name is Mandy Love and I'm joined by the president of VMMNA, Matt Blomley. Matt.
Hello, Mandy. It's always a pleasure and it's great to be back out here.
How strong were the Victorians in that opening 15?
Oh, they were terrific. That first 30 seconds, we were a little bit worried that WA are already going to get on top, but they turned it around so quickly and a very dominant 16-5. That's an absolutely incredible first quarter from the Victorians. Let's see what WA is going to bring out this one.
So no changes. Oh, sorry, positional change. So Lee Total goes to the back in goalkeeper and Dan Cools comes out the front in goal defence.
I don't mind that swap either. Draven was sitting back a bit on Cam Allen anyway, so might as well work that positional swap and just work it to your advantage a little bit more. A bit more fly from the back in different direction and different drive down the court.
And I don't believe there are any changes to the Victorian 7 lineup, but they get done for the held ball, so great defensive pressure from the West Coast Thunder.
Yeah, that's exactly the way that WA need to start, is getting these turnovers, but now they need to capitalise.
And, there's got to be more than one option to the ball, running at the ball. You know, use of backspace, someone cutting front and give a 45 angle. It's only singular here, so you only have and there's 3 sets of hands that they've got to run behind.
Yeah, they were doing well, Victoria, there, essentially space marking for a while, moving intentionally or not with that space marking, but a bit of a get out of jail there with Richardson getting the unfortunate call.
And the ball is on the other court, so we're just waiting for the return. And look at all that jostling for position. McPherson would love for him to turn to shoot and to go to post.
At least give the threat of it.
Yep, he's more than capable of it. Roberts explodes off the transverse line. And Richardson through the middle, gets that left hand working.
Oh, incredible take. It was a great contest, but incredible take.
His awareness of his position on court was second to none.
How he didn't take himself out on the pole there, Bambi, I do not know.
So because I've just noticed that Richardson at the centre a lefty, and then Brodie Roberts is a lefty. So
yeah, indeed.
So that's probably why they attack the right side of the court, because it's easy for them to turn outside turn and swing with the left.
And the other thing with them, they've played a lot of M-League in the mixed in particular, and together they've really got a great established combination there.
Yep. And the home crowd really supporting their West Coast Thunder team here as they trail by 10. And yes, good contest here, allowed to keep going. Got to get around. And nice hedging work done. They've got a swing. And stepping call. This is the momentum shift here. So this is a moment for West Coast Thunder.
Absolutely turn this into 3 goals all of a sudden for the quarter versus 1.
And they need to keep running through the ball. So they're sort of just not really driving. They're sort of just almost stutter stepping. Like, do I go, don't I? Yes, go. Drive
Someone just
straight
go.
away. Attack it. Even if you don't get it, you're going to create space left behind.
Even just then, heard when to go, but we had a bit of a miscommunication there with Rawlings.
And contact outside the circle from Rawlings. And nice defense over the shot by Lee Todor.
Stunning finish.
I like the little shoulder shrug that he does as he walks back to the line. Oh, over the shoulder. It's almost like a footy match. Burton picks up the scraps, has to clean it up.
How good is seeing all this contesting? Every ball is going to be a tough one to take.
Yes. And West Coast Thunder will need to treasure each possession they get in order to get this game back within reach. And McPherson does his best to get that ball back in line.
And just asking for a towel. This is the thing when there's so many tough contests and physical match. It's going to be a bit of sweat flying around.
Oh, yeah. Some perspiration.
Can I get a mop and bucket aisle 3, please?
Yeah. Preferably Sabco, thanks. Mop of preference.
I'm a Velita, man.
Yeah.
And if either of those would like to sponsor us...
Yes, please contact AMMNA. The way that ball just was threaded through both West Coast defenders. Wow.
And this is the other thing that Cam Allen's really started to develop. We saw him in the Opens for the first time last year. His body position, his awareness of where he wants the ball, and making his midcourt know where to give the ball.
Yeah, he's directing and setting up plays as well. Like, it's not Roberts sort of creating for him, it's him. They're both creating for each other.
Which is so crucial, the sharing the workload.
And step back shot, high in the air. Just unsuccessful for McPherson.
Yeah, just need to get his weight back upright for the release rather than still going backwards on the step back.
And Punchin on the one leg, held ball. Rare mistake for Punchin.
Yeah, he doesn't make a lot of those. I dare say that the umpires, both of them, are seeing these hesitations and reading into it a little bit as holding it for a long time. I don't know that they are. Beautiful ball.
Yes, that's Rawlings. You know, Rawlings comes up from the 23 and under division last year, so to get a starting position in centre against the Victorians, big props to him in my opinion.
And such good experience. And this is what will help WA at an end of a week, having experience in a young fella like that.
He has a really good connection with the likes of Dylan McPherson at a club level as well here in the WA Netball League. So, you know, they would feel very comfortable with him in the middle. Lee Totoro strong over the shot. And Roberts collects another goal to add to his tally. So 20 plays 9 in favour of the Victorians.
And this is the thing with netball at this level. It's all about the combinations. You need to build solid combinations that you can go back to and rely on. Individuals can't win the match.
I agree. And you see Victorians doing a really good job forcing all the West Coast Centre players wide off that centre pass setup. They were literally jammed in the middle and then forced wide. They have ball circle edge now.
I would have loved to see Gilbert use his heel pivot to turn to post for a moment before giving that offload. He's still fast enough with his movement to give that offload.
He does fancy a little post feed to himself.
Give himself a bit of extra time.
Extra time.
Very New Zealand style thing to do.
I would just like them to turn and shoot.
Oh, amen. Amen, sister.
Oh, good coverage from Cools there on Roberts. And Lee Totoro has a look on the other side.
Just getting caught throwing the arms on the way back.
Oh, the Victorians are training in the background, and there is a ball near the baseline. Oh, jeez.
And the umpire really needed to
call time. No.
Because that's a safety issue.
That's a huge safety issue. I agree. I completely agree.
Because if he'd landed on that the responsibility was, whilst the initial shot, yes, while the ball was coming across, but then it's out of safety. And you can see Riley's just gone, I'm going to get this back after that incident's occurred. Very determined. Oh, speaking of safety, look after yourself there, son.
And critical moment for the West Coast Thunder, and they get the right reply, so they get the centre pass as well to follow. I bet Coach Jed and Victorians are telling his team to not throw the ball on the sideline and don't let it roll near your post.
Oh, give the ball to the correct option. Great chase, Al Punchin.
And, yeah, he said no.
Just saying, got a hand to it.
And look at Dal Mather down on the sideline here. He's up and about off the bench, and he's like, yeah, he's almost like the third umpire on the sideline.
Some players do get that nervous energy on the bench and need to just be up and down.
And he's just riding every play in this game, supporting his mates.
Yeah.
Replay ball? No.
It's an unfortunate thing I don't think we see enough of in netball because of the bench rules, that you don't get the up and about basketball type bench.
Oh, Totoro.
Beautifully read. Saw it days ago.
There is so much physicality. Like, they're literally coming up and just like body on body, and then, okay, who's going to come off this second best, but in a clean, contested way. And loose ball again. Got a bit scrappy here. You know, this is when the officials really need to stamp their mark on this game. If they're going to allow the contest, they've got to be consistent with it across the 4 quarters. And
then a very nice early whistle when something does happen.
Yes. See, for me, I'm really enjoying this wing defence for Victoria. Malmo, he's gotten his hand into everything. Cross court.
Yeah, he was quiet in the first quarter in terms of didn't do anything wrong. It certainly was there in creating a contest for what was behind him, but this quarter started to find a lot more ball.
And Rawlings really fighting for a circle edge position. Sells him the balk.
And Jake Hedricks, who has come on into goal defence, giving Al Punchin a break. This will provide a slightly different style of defence down there. Hedricks runs at the ball at different angles than Al Punchin. Doesn't play quite the same area.
Great defensive pressure, and just like that, one error, you're off. That's brutal.
It definitely wasn't pre-planned at all. And I was saying about the hell ball earlier, I do think they are early. Hell balls do not actually happen that often in netball, despite it only being 3 seconds. 3 seconds is a long time.
I feel like the shooters get to play around with the ball a lot longer than 3 seconds.
Oh, absolutely.
And obstruction call, so, you know, here's an opportunity for West Coast Thunder to just inch it back a little bit, chip away at this lead. Crucial moment here, 7 goals down. Can they make it 6?
About to go for 4 in a row here as well. So important, so important.
So now the officials call the ball for time, which is nowhere near the court. How was it a centre pass when they were all offside?
So, centre pass has already been taken with the first whistle. Second whistle's for the time.
McPherson with the burners on the dodge.
Great finish.
Post.
4 goals in a row, WA.
I would not be surprised if Punchin comes back on very soon.
Yeah, quite possibly into that keeper role. But obviously, look, look for some fresh legs through the middle, bringing on Jake Noonan there. Create something a bit different. Maybe a chance for Riley Richardson to just step back for a moment and watch.
And just see what's happening out in front of him.
And find his rhythm again.
And it's interesting because, you know, West Coast Thunder usually, like, throw those long feeds straight away, but they haven't had an opportunity to. And both shooters in, wanting to split. Dylan McPherson.
That's a tough ball to give over Victorian defence, but perfectly positioned.
And Lorraine Ward just giving some direction to Stuart Burton here on the defensive setup. So let's see what they do. Looking like they're working on in behind to avoid this happening, the circle edge positioning straight away.
Don't want them going through the top of the circle. It's hot.
And great goal by Brodie Roberts here. So still with a 7-goal lead are the Victorians, and they jump the line, so it is. Oh, and Jason Hurd closes the eyes as he catches.
It was an interesting fly from Hendricks. Thought he might have been able to have a chance at it, but it's a tough angle when you're going backwards. Oh, almost there, Tim Malmo.
And again, he's starting to get himself involved in the game. He's getting active around that circle edge. He's got quite a reach on him too.
And that can be frustrating to a feeding mid-court when you've got a defender constantly at you. How good is this to see Gilbard really getting himself in the game?
Yep. Has a bit of a giggle with the umpire on the way through. So back down to 6. So, you know, they're coming within reach. An obstruction call.
Just trying to clarify who it was and where it is. A bit of confusion. There's another opens game going on in the other court, so there's a lot of noise out here, but terrific hands.
I really enjoy the fact that West Coast Thunder have really brought themselves back into this match, though.
Yeah, clear message it. Oh! Jake Hendricks followed up beautifully by Byron. The clear message was, that first quarter doesn't matter.
And Connor Rawlings down the far end, doing his best to save it for the team. Everyone in that defensive lane took flight at the ball, and they knew one was going to come, and Connor Rawlings had a tip on it. So great job by Rawlings defensively.
And look at that cover, Lee Tarua.
And there's that round the body pass that you said that Roberts has added to his bag of tricks.
And it really works well for that feed to Cam Allen, because he holds his space for so long, and he's got the long arms, he can rip it in. And it's less of a contest than up in the air.
Misplaced pass from McPherson to Gilbard. So an opportunity for the Victorians to push this back out to 8 goals. So they need to really work hard on the defensive play here, looking on that sag defense.
Unfortunately for Rawlings, just slipped for the moment, given the get out of jail.
Oh, quick offload. Did it touch his hand ever so briefly?
Stunning is the word for that.
So stunning. And I don't know how I feel about giving Brodie Roberts all this space to play around in.
Well, the fact that he's starting to find himself again, he did go, I wouldn't say missing, but a little bit quieter for a period of time there. But we saw what he can do against New Zealand defenders at Trans-Tasman's. My gosh, you can't give him time or space.
And very smart by Roberts. Doesn't want to chase the ball.
Just let time tick down.
Let the time. If the officials are going to call time, then, you know, that works in their favour.
Oh, beautifully done. Draven Leotarua seen over the mess as well.
So West Coast Thunder, what can they do here? Nice
Terrific
positioning
triangle
from Rawlings. Great feed.
That is textbook triangle work.
Oh, so good. And everyone knew what was happening in that play. So 30 seconds left to play here.
WA definitely want to score at least one more.
I'd like to see Dylan McPherson find his way in. Oh, so quick as Jerome Gilbard. Oh, they've got to have a game awareness to get the ball back quickly. Not our buzzer, which has been a feature of this year's champs.
Yeah, very similar sounding buzzers across the courts.
So crucial moment.
Interestingly, he didn't try and take that a bit quicker there, Jerome, to try and get the centre pass back. Given it's a Victoria centre pass, you would have tried to make them take it.
They're too smart. He knows that they probably would have just held it up, to be fair. So great fight back from the West Coast Thunder. They currently trail 18-24. The Victorians come off with a strong first quarter. Second quarter, just allowing West Coast Thunder back in, Matt.
Definitely dictated by WA for a fair bit of that quarter. We did see a couple more passages where Victoria pulled it back. Maybe a couple of them switched off for a moment.
Yeah, just got that hint of complacency and then was brought right back into it when Thunder came back storming home.
Never think a 16-5 is enough.
No, not at all. So please stay with us shortly after this commercial break.
Having a pretty good season this year, Andy.
By the look of this lot, you are too.
Well, we've got a good team out in the field. You want to go meet them?
Sure. So what do you grow here?
We've got broccolis, collies over there, carrots, you name it. We harvest it today, catch, and it's in the stores tomorrow.
So you guys are the midfielders of the fruit and veg.
At Spot Shed, we grow it.
We sell it, you save.
Giving this season everything we've got. Just try and stop us. Don't miss the excitement of West Coast Fever at RAC Arena. Tickets on sale now at ticketek.com.au. Giving this season everything we've got. Just try and stop us. Don't miss the excitement of West Coast Fever at RAC Arena. Tickets on sale now at ticketek.com.au.
And good evening and welcome back to Bendat Stadium here in Perth, Western Australia, who are hosting the Australian Men's and Mixed Netball Championships. We're in the Opens division here. It's round 4. Victoria with a healthy 6-goal lead, leading the West Australian team at 24 goals to 18. My name is Mandy Love and joining me is Matthew Blomley. Matt, any changes that you can see from the Victorians?
Yeah, it looks like just the one change at the moment with Riley Richardson after spending a little bit of time on the bench towards the end of that quarter, perhaps resting, moved into wing attack. Jaden Cowling is having a seat. I don't mind that as a bit of a change-up, bit of variety.
For the West Australians, looks like they're staying tried and true, keeping the same 7 out on court.
As I was about to say, I don't think that's a bad thing. Unfortunately, Dylan McPherson throws a bit of a long one, bit of a miscommunication. He will get that back, though.
He's definitely going to fight for it anyway. Burton with the big 3-foot mark. Back to the transverse line, coming through.
Yeah,
And
Riley Richardson just going, are you coming forward or back?
Yes.
I'm not sure, but I'm going to give it to you, whichever one you do.
I'm just going to throw it up and you just decide.
Or perhaps I'll make the decision for you.
Oh, so it looks like Cools and Lee Total have switched positions again.
And you can keep swapping them all day, and I don't think it changes how good they are through there at any point.
Jason Hurd doing a really good job, gets the contact call against Malmo, so he'll be free, but must be active with it.
Yeah, need to hit circle edge on that one's rolling. It was a spare play, you need to just do a little bit more.
And there's the screen from Gilbert trying to open up the space, and great defensive pressure.
And that should have been given in early. Now, got to take advantage of Lee Total being outside the circle. Good contact to get.
I think that was smart. It allows Lee Total to re-enter the circle.
Absolutely.
And, we saw at the halftime break too, Lee Todor and Dylan McPherson approaching the umpires. Can you give us a little bit of feedback on what you heard there, Matt, through their conversation?
From the bits I could pick up, and my hearing is not as good as it used to be, they were asking questions around the holding position and if it's a case of the arms being in hold, if the goal shooter for Victoria is actually in a natural position on his stand, which we do see the awkwardness that people think of Cam Allen's positioning.
Oh, they've held time. I think he's going to get Heinrich's going to get a caution. Yeah, the back chat. And now they've got to take the penalty because the penalty was called.
I'm unsure why the talk needed to keep going. The call's been made. You've made the caution call, which is completely fair enough. But once that's been done, how much more do you need to say to it?
I think she was just making sure that, the authoritarian in the umpire was made very clear there. Sorry.
And this could be follow-up from some games where perhaps the cautions weren't taken as seriously from teams. And they should be taken seriously. Because the next thing that happens is the warning and then you're 2 minutes off.
If West Coast Thunder are smart, I would be running all my attack through Heinrich in the circle right now. Jam him every time.
Yeah. Force a call. The frustration's there.
Absolutely. We've already got the official looking at him early now, so anything he does will be whistled, and it has been. So they need to use this and really expose Heinrich in this passage of play. Defensively, though, what can West Coast Thunder do? The Victorians looking in early, crossing the court. They've got such a great understanding of the spacing and awareness, and the elevation.
It's beautiful elevation.
Wow.
What I loved about that swing ball from Roberts as well, he knew that a defender was going to get some hands to it, so placed it perfectly over the top, taking the hands out of the contest.
Mid-court from West Coast Thunder really need to work hard on that repeated efforts. There was nothing going from them. They were always all tucking in behind the Victorian defenders, so they can't be sighted by the person with the ball in hand. More needs to be done.
And taking advantage of that held, giving himself a breather there, Jake Hedricks.
I tell you, I think the main difference for me watching the two teams so far has been mid-court hitting circle edge.
It makes a difference.
Makes a huge difference not having those big arms in front of you. And Victorians just at the moment seem to be doing that a little bit better. Oh, Dan Cools has now been cautioned as well.
And I'm unsure if that was maybe just a little comment or whether it was for a persistent hitting of the ball late.
So, who shows the most discipline?
Yeah. And whilst we don't want to see things like cautions and the like in netball, it is part of the game management and sometimes it is needed. We did speak earlier about how fierce and tight this competition is. The umpires have obviously had a look and gone, we need to make sure it doesn't get any further.
And Lee Todor wins the contest underneath the post, so it looks long.
wanting the long ball as he so
Just
often
winds
does.
up. You see that arm just winding up.
That's a
Beautifully
lovely
lifted
feed.
pass, yes. And went looking for the call too. I thought there was nothing in that. Very lucky by Gilbert.
And he's got to be so careful that he doesn't get that short pass off the post. He is flirting with that. I know the umpire's a lot closer than we are, so has a much better view. We are coming from a distance, but it is very, very close.
That is a risky move against an Australian defensive circle. I'm sorry.
It's a risky move against any circle, I would say.
I think maybe it's just about like he has control of that. Oh, reverse the call. I don't understand what happened there.
I'm really not sure what's happened.
Okay, lots of frustration creeping in now. So Jerome Gilbert on a caution. Oh, it's been elevated straight to a warning.
And we're too far away to hear what's just happened with that and what's the call in terms of what was said, what was the reason for that. But if you're a coach now, you can't leave Jerome Gilbert on court after he's moved up to... Because if he says anything now, he's off for 2 minutes. You've got a shooter position. You've got nothing left in that circle. You've got a Dylan McPherson having to do all the work with no one behind him.
Maybe they run that risk, maybe they just look at seeing what this 7 does for the rest of the quarter.
Well, that's the question. Is it a risk you're willing to run, knowing that he should settle himself down?
Look, he's a consummate professional. Like, he'll know that he'll need to calm down in order for his team to succeed. However, it is very difficult when calls were made in the first half are only just now being made in the third quarter. Look,
Yeah,
there's just
it
no
does look like there has
consistency
been a change.
in how they're and I'm not one to, be negative towards our officials because we understand they are volunteers and they are fully accredited. But they're definitely officiating this match very differently in the start of this third quarter than they are in the first half of the match. That's very clear.
And all we can ask is that continues for the rest of the match.
And we just want that consistency.
And whether it's consistency for... Oh, interesting
call,
footwork.
yeah,
Absolutely.
Call.
Whether it's consistent for a full game or at least half and half of similar consistency, players and coaches can work to that. Whether you agree with the call does not matter.
No, you've got to play on and not wholly within the circle.
Must be tough to see. Oh, no, it must have been a breaking call because I was going to say it'd be very difficult to see on that blue circle in there.
Oh, Josh Byron, just so knowledgeable, just knew exactly where that ball was being placed.
A degree of elegance to the way he went about it.
Just lightly touched it back to himself. Plays on nicely, must give him space to land.
Yeah, rare time that Terrell was caught off-footed for that one. Normally he'd be active and ready to go again.
Right, Stuart Burton comes off. Doesn't look very happy.
How did Tim Melmo get that?
Like I said, he's been, for me, he's been one of the key features from the Victorian team.
It was almost like it was placed in his hands, but he just had them in such a perfect spot. Oh, someone's noticed blood on the ball, I think, is what's happened there.
Oh, nice acknowledgement, Malmo.
And here's the type of person that is that. I mean, I'm not going to lie. If I saw blood on myself, I'd probably be licking it for a while, wiping it on the underside of the uniform. But it is the right thing to do, and it's not necessarily a bad thing from a team point of view. It shows how unselfish that moment is after he just got a beautiful intercept.
It just makes me like him all the more. I think he might be one of my new favourite Victorian players.
And we know you've got a couple, Al Punchin being one of those.
Yes. How can you not be a Punchin fan, though?
I've been a fan of his for quite a long time. He knows that.
Lee Totoa.
I could never stay mad at him.
Heavy collisions at the back there. Alum goes down. Lee Totoa goes down in a bit of a tumble.
Yeah, a little bit of cause and effect there, unfortunately. Taru had been given a little bit of knock and went to the ground, which then resulted in Cam Allen having to go to the ground as well. All
right, so changes being made. So Stuart Burton re-enters in that centre position. We saw him in the fast five for the Australian men, so we know he's got the engine on him. Dale Mather in at wing defence, and looks like Connor Rawlings with a wing attack bib on.
Yeah, it looks like he's just been given the moment to say, have a drink.
Yep.
You've got plenty of time, then make the change.
And look at the work that Heinrich's doing early off-ball work against Dylan McPherson. He's just forcing him up high. He's not giving him an inch.
And McPherson loves finding the body and reading off it as well. So that's what he's going to do. They've clearly gone, do a bit more ball handling up the court. And wing attacks in Hurd at the moment. Sit back. Oh!
But, right idea.
Saw it. Almost had it. Such good eyes. And, that would have been spectacular.
All right, so for me now, with the injection of Rawlings in at wing attack, they've gone for, just out-and-out pace in that front line, in that mid-court.
Run it. Why not?
Yeah. So let's see what they do. Lee Todor balances himself, has Stuart Burton on circle edge. Mather finds Rawlings strong on the take. And here's that pace that we were talking about. They're finding themselves easily on circle edge now.
It's a lot tougher. Very different style defender for the moment in Ronan Pring, who's come on wing defence. There will be a lot of arms around there, but it'll be interesting to see how he matches them speed. The other thing that's really noticeable is Victoria's percentages dropped that little bit in the circle, and that's what's keeping WA in the game as well. Plenty of hands in that circle.
So Jerome Gilbard will take the penalty.
And unsure where the penalty was being set. Josh Byron said here, and then it wasn't. Gilbard is always very smart at giving himself the best position.
The extra step that a shooter takes in.
And why
early
wouldn't
release. Fade away. No.
couldn't quite get the handle. Just a bit too much on it. I'd really love to see a backup when any goaler does that. So they've got that short option then to refeed, because it's always a tough shot. Ooh.
And contact call on Heinrich. We did speak about him earlier, getting the caution, so he is in the eye of the officials. So
yeah, it was an unlucky timing. I was looking off slightly and saw the contest. It might have been a Gilbard push off Byron, but
held ball. All close.
No, that's that pass off the post, gives him the extra second or so.
Is this the key to unlocking the West Coast Thunder front end?
Pace might be the key, absolutely.
And Rawlings strong on the take, gets the contact call. And delivers a great ball into Gilbard. And got called for the goaltending, so the goal is scored.
And it was interesting change in technique that Byron went with there. Notice that the right hand actually went to cover the post pass.
Mm-hmm.
He's recognised that that's occurring. Bit of a change.
That's just smart play by him as a defender. Mather gets a touch on it. The official.
He's begging, pleading to say, I wasn't the last hands on that ball.
Well, her back was turned, so she missed it completely. And there's a lot to be covered in this men's open match.
There's so much going on. How their eyes can see even half of what's going on sometimes.
You couldn't even use a video replay because the play moves so quickly.
No, I would hate to see that come into the game at any point as a video replay. It would slow the game up too much.
Yep, so Heinrich caught out again. Or Hendrick, sorry.
Yeah, wasn't quite sure what happened, but went, sorry, was that me? We've seen Tom Hardwick, the young fella, come on into goal attack.
And no replay call. So is this the youngster in goal attack?
Turns and shoots straight away.
Well done.
Love that from any goaler stepping on the court. Confidence to go to post.
Quick turn and release from McPherson. Finds Rawlings.
Yeah, almost loose ball opportunity. Great hands around the body somehow. Sells a candy.
Yeah, a bit of a show and go.
Not mad about that.
And again, contact call on Hendrick. So McPherson doing a lot of work trying to protect the space.
And he doesn't know how to use his backside, McPherson, to hold that space, which is tough to then get around. And the fact that he's working for that low ball, so much tougher than a ball that's up that little bit higher. Got to keep working the feet.
And gives his face a wipe as well. Wow.
Yeah, that's a 1-for-1. Riley Richardson did that down the other end as well. Why not take advantage of it? Probably would have given the hands a wipe as well.
And Gilbard collects another goal to his tally. So it's back down to 8 goals difference. So 35 plays 27 and not across the transverse line. So big moment here for the West Coast Thunder.
Yeah, a bit of miscommunication at the transverse line there. You've got to have some awareness of what's going on, even if you've come off the line. And if you're coming from behind, Ronan Pring, great chase. Missed the offside.
No, plays it from the baseline.
Umpire just said, no, thank you.
Yeah, Dankles just needs to play. Don't give her a second to think about it. Just go on with that.
Absolutely. You've been given the throw in. Don't even give them a chance to look anywhere else.
probably not in the spirit of the game, but you know. Opportunity gone begging here for the West.
But I mean, outer courts do come as swings and roundabouts at times.
Yes,
so
they do.
you take them when it's been signalled your way, because some players think it's come off them when it has actually come off someone else later as well.
This game is so fast.
Beautiful ball in. A minute and a half to go, and there's still so much that could happen in this quarter.
And I don't think that the Victorians are completely clear of this game just yet.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Oh, wow, truth bomb.
Yeah, bang, drop it. We've got a spare microphone. I will drop it on that moment. I'll take it down on court and drop it. Definitely not out of this game. It is only 11 goals. And Victoria haven't been commanding in this quarter, and certainly not the second quarter.
9 goals.
Oh, sorry. What am I even looking at? I'm seeing 37-26. My eyesight does need checking.
Gilbert lines up. And, yeah, well short.
I think back to 8 now.
So need a defensive stop.
8 is more than achievable. Mm-hmm. Defensive stop and a score off your centre pass in this time would be the ideal here for WA.
Discipline. They really needed discipline. They need to stay in play.
Oh, Richardson just going, thank you for calling time then, because I think I might have had a
Might
footwork.
have had a footwork call if you didn't. I think Dale Mather's doing a really good job here in wing defence for West Coast Thunder. I think he's really tightened things up.
Yeah, it's a very changed match. Stewie Burton's not slow by any means, but Mather's matching the speed of Riley Richardson.
And he also brings that physicality with him into that wing defence role.
Yeah, maybe something not expected. Trying to exaggerate something there, Cools. Don't know that there was the push-off that he was trying for.
He's looking for it, though. Oh, they've halted time, so 7.9 seconds. Victorians asked to storm the centre pass here. So look for the goal attack and wing attack to come down with hands over pressure.
And Gilbert surely turn and shoot. Oh. I backed him in for that one as well.
What a third quarter. This is a game on our hands. It's 37 plays 28. West Coast Thunder continually looking to press, to push on, to get this lead down to something that's matchable so that they can have a crack at taking this game in the last 15 minutes. Can they get there? Must stay tuned after this. Welcome back to Bendat Stadium. It is hot, hot, hot here on Court 1. We have the men's open team and the division. We've got Victoria with a 37-goal point scored so far.
They're about to say 37-goal
I was
lead.
going to say
I can feel it.
37-goal lead. I was. That's how excited I am. They've got West Coast Thunder hot on their trail with 28 goals themselves. So 9 goals in it. Heaps of positional changes. Can you talk us through some of them, Matt?
All right. Defensively, we've seen change in Victoria. We've seen Tim Melmo go into goalkeeper, a position he's played a lot at for Victoria over the years. Al Punchin into goal defence. Just having a look across the WA lineup, I think they've stuck the... Oh, no, they've swapped Draven around into goalkeeper. Draven Leetaroa into goalkeeper. Dan Cools back out to goal defence. Seems to be a nice rotation
and
working
there's
for him.
Malmo. Oh, he I'm sorry. At the moment, he's my pick for the moment as best on ground for Victoria.
We often use the term "your mate" as a bit of a derogatory thing, but I think "your mate" is a massively good thing at the moment.
Looks like he'll line up the shot.
Beautiful,
Yes.
settled shot.
But just looks so calm and composed in that shooting circle too.
And this is only his second championships.
Wow.
Played 23s last year. He was originally in our second 23 side that we had a couple before that with COVID, and found himself up in the Open. So great opportunity in a crucial match for Victoria in terms of can they push this back out.
I like how you guys back in the young guys. Likewise with the West Coast Thunder, I'm really enjoying that fact that Connor Rawlings is still out on court.
Oh, it's so terrific to see him getting this opportunity and having to run Connor Rawlings. And what a difference he made that last quarter is that movement.
So long ball in. So Brodie Roberts having a look. They did step in.
But the call not coming against Leetaroa.
Yeah, because they were looking at the outside of the circle. Stuart Burton just sort of trying to rub it out. It looks like he might have been put up a bit ginger. Not use of the post.
This is an interesting one when it comes to the use of the post, and we've seen a couple in some different matches where a bit of a hit of the post not being called for using the post versus someone leaning or you hold it. And whether that's an interpretation thing, I knew it, traditionally used to be you've used the post in any capacity, but perhaps it's an interpretation that started to creep into the game because it's not just this game that's occurred.
It's absolutely an interpretation thing, and that's why it's one of those rules that it's so hard to gauge because you don't get that consistency that you would like. And Matha strong on the contact. And strong drive in. Victorians will have the throw in. Fine circle edge. And nice baseline pop.
Yeah, I would have picked Cools to have picked that off and stopped him for that moment. Just missed a communication for a moment.
Oh, and yeah, Stewie Burton not quite happy with himself after that collision in the far pocket.
Yeah, he's looking a bit proppy. Perhaps a corky.
Hopefully it's just a stinger. So they have gotten it out to 12 goals.
Oh, that is a great chase.
It just stopped.
But two great backups then from both sides. Rawling terrific, but Richardson also recognised that, hey, here's another loose ball that we probably should have been part of. Oh, beautiful.
Oh, I think I might have a new favourite.
Brodie Roberts too?
Yeah, yeah, Brodie's a thing of the past.
Oh, and as I say that, I've only just made the connection that Brodie Roberts has gone into shooter and Cam Allen gone off after I've seen them rotating through. I do apologise to our audience at home who clearly noticed that before me. Forgive us, we've both commentated the first game of the day and the last game of the day. If we've gone slightly delirious.
Oh, but look, this has been a really, really good game of netball. It's just there's been some interesting calls being made, but it's more interesting is the reactions from the teams. You know, in these moments, this is where that cool heads must prevail.
And you can just see the smile on Tim Melmo's face at the going, yeah, let's do this, have some fun with it. You got a call, go your way.
Look, he's having a great old night. Of course, he's happy and out on court. And yeah, just asked us to take a couple of steps back as he steps forward again.
And I don't mind seeing any players smile on court. It's not something I'm renowned for, but I like seeing other players smile on court. It means they're enjoying themselves.
And when they're enjoying it, the ball runs freely as well. It goes.
Oh, beautiful eyes down. I mean, unfortunately, the call on the outside. But, oh, what a ball in. The eyes were just caught down by Cools.
Oh, the high shot. And allow the contest. And, yeah, Dravenly Total picks up the ball.
My ball here, umpire? No? Okay.
And, again, sometimes you might have to do that.
Absolutely. Why not? Beautiful finish, Brody Roberts.
Yeah, so they've brought it out to a 15-goal lead, the Victorians. So well in control of this match so far. They just need to keep their scoreboard pressure ticking over.
Yeah, scoreboard pressure is that key. I think WA will be disappointed with how this score is currently sitting, despite the fact they are getting ball down the court.
And, you know,
beautiful.
Beautiful play from the West Australians. They're just on the ball too, and McPherson slots it through the goal.
And the release from Gilbard just allowed for essentially a screen there. But he's getting a little bit chatty, Gilbard.
Yes, he is.
Might have to nickname him Kathy. It rewards your effort on the fact that you've given off a beautiful ball. This will sink.
Oh, nothing but net from McPherson. He's still in it.
The moment he took that ball, it did not look like missing.
And offensive contact.
And that sometimes can be with the inexperience at times. Using your body differently and the angle that you're going out on.
Well, it's funny. I feel like it's a call that a lot of teams are suffering from this week. So many teams across all divisions are getting pulled for that offensive contact call.
And a lot of it seems to be from the outsider, not having umpire in this tournament, is the forearms up.
Lee Totoa read that so nicely.
I swear he almost called for it. I heard the woo. And good patience from WA.
Finds Hurd on the opposite side. Baseline drive by McPherson, not used. And great ball, great vision.
How good are Gilbard's screens?
And that's what he's been working on all night.
And he hasn't been afraid this quarter to take a bit of the workload away to really open up for McPherson. Exploit a mismatch at different times.
Mm-hmm. So they're just checking whose centre pass it is. It should be the Victorian. Oh,
Reserve umpires got one way. Both umpires were pointing the one direction. There was some confusion. They've done the right thing and checked on it.
Jason Hurd will have a free pass.
That's a long way out for a goal defence to get a penalty. Good penalty outside the circle, though.
I'm really interested to sort of understand why both shooters are sort of storming the circle edge. Like they're both there, but they're not setting screens up for one another. Like they're just both trying to get the ball. So they've got all four defenders, all four players in and around that circle edge.
I'm wondering whether it's a little bit of miscommunication situation going on there. They're both so determined to do it for their team.
Like the timing is
They're
out.
both so passionate Thunder Boys.
Oh, good coverage. Replay ball, yeah. Thought about it, no goal.
And the other thing you would do as an attacker then is
great ball.
Rip it up. Oh, how punch in.
Big players step up in big moments.
And speaking of big players stepping up big moments, Lee Terrell went, I am getting this back. Caught Hardwick snoozing on the lead.
Nice middle corridor from Connor Rawlings as he works himself to circle edge. Has to go all the way across. Screen set by McPherson.
Just not quite long enough.
And look at the nudging, and McPherson's going, did you see that? Did you see him getting the knee on my back?
Which is a hard one because McPherson does bury himself a little bit at times, which means that some of the calls don't get seen when he has actually been pushed because it does look like they're given as good as they're getting.
Yep. So his little matchup against Punchin is actually quite a nice one to watch.
Yeah, I'd say he's getting the better of Al Punchin at the moment.
Well, he's keeping Punchin occupied to avoid having like that double team against Gilbard. And contact on the ball as Gilbard scores another goal.
And Gilbard's so good at just letting the arm sink onto the ball.
So they brought the lead till under 10, so it's only 9 goals the difference. Oh, Lee
Beautifully
Totowa.
done. Just trying to be...
Oh, offensive contact using the ball to push him off. And there's a lot of boos in this crowd right now.
He does it occasionally, but I wouldn't say he does it often.
Okay, now it's just getting cheeky.
Setting the penalty, saying you've got to be able to play. And realistically, most players aren't aware of the fact that you can't be 1 foot in front of the other in the out of play. You can't be in the contest in any capacity.
There is a lot of passion in this game right now from everyone involved. The crowd are in it, the players are in it, the bench is in it.
That pass was on. Gilbert just gone, maybe a bit too much on it, sorry. That was a very wide ball.
And that's what they were forced into. What can they do here, the Victorians? And look, left alone along the base. Oh, great pass from the middies to each other.
I like the fact they just went, you know what, we're not going to force this into the circle. And
Oh, Totowa! Where did he come from? He is just exploding right now. And it blink, flash, ball is down in the goal third for West Coast Thunder.
not only where did he come from, but how did he keep that in his hands and not just end up handing it off? That was incredible. I'm lost for superlatives for
Yeah,
that.
I know, I am too. Clearly, the West Coast Thunder player who I think has done a fantastic job tonight against the Victorians.
Absolutely. He has really come to play today. Certainly been the most consistent, I'd say, for WA as well.
I do want to throw a special mention out. I think Dylan McPherson's really worked hard in that goal attack role. Things probably haven't gone the way he would have liked this game, but the effort and the work rate is still 100% there.
Oh, definitely a huge work rate. And a position he hasn't spent as much time in these tournaments traditionally. He has spent a bit of time this one.
And look, good long ball to Hurd.
Oh, Ronan Pring. First opportunity really for him to have a fly, which is what his natural game is. It's not necessarily tight on the one-on-one.
And nice balance there from Mather. Long ball.
Gilbert saying, give it to me, give it to me.
And as the ball was going on the downwards trajectory, so he will get another attempt.
And my God, that's hard to tell sometimes, whether it's still on its way up, whether it's on the down, whether it's something in between.
Oh, breaking call. Oh, play on, yep.
Possibly should have been a breaking call. But confusion once again with the centre pass. When there is a lot going on, I will say this for the umpires, when there's so much action going on and so much going on before and after a whistle, sometimes you do forget to change hands with what you're meant to be signalling.
Great defensive attempt from Malmo.
All of a sudden, 7 goals, 2 minutes to go. WA, you want this back to 4, I think, at the very least. And that's very achievable.
And Victorian just playing it slow. They're in no rush.
There is no reason to rush it at all. Very smart little ball there from Brodie Roberts. Oh,
Here's
just a little bit rushed on that, Tom Hardwick.
And, oh, it looks like he wanted to go long. Wasn't quite open for him, though. And he'll
But
cut
here
the
it
front.
comes.
Yes. Better play by the West Coast Thunder. Probably their best long court transition to date. And on the ball again. And they'll get the centre pass too.
At 6 goals.
Could be 5 with this centre pass.
And Jake Noonan says, no, thank you. You will not have 5 with this centre pass.
That was a critical moment for the boys in the West.
They needed to score that one because all of a sudden that's 5, all of a sudden that's maybe 4 or 3. And as I said before, Victoria, if they're smart,
They'll
like
play
we see,
around with it. Yep.
as we see,
Smart.
you
Smart
don't need
play.
to force anything in. Just kick it back, work it, Malawi the ball.
Yep, they could play it all the way back. And the West Coast Thunder really need to get up on that.
And by the looks of it, they are going to play it all the way back for as long as needed. Very smart ball, Brodie Roberts. Still will go to post when it's open, though.
They're just toying with them now. And
Oh.
use of the foot didn't.
Richardson, the call
Too
is
late.
deliberate kick. So people need to be aware of it. It's a deliberate kick. It's not just throw it off someone's foot and hope for the best. But imagine if that had gone through his feet for a pass. We would have lost our proverbial.
Gilbert lines up.
Beautiful.
So back to within 5.
Victoria need to make sure they get another goal here and don't get a turnover. Plenty of time. Former Aussie 23's teammates chasing her, Jake Noonan. Nice little battle there.
There's been great matchups all across the netball court tonight.
Oh,
Lisa.
almost. Maybe just a little bit of arm or hand collected.
And yeah, just off the radar from Brody Roberts. So 3 seconds left to play.
And Brody knows that that's a win for them. They're happy.
And what a game. 46-41 in favour of the Victorians. They are very happy with this final score. A lot of this was set up early in that first quarter dominance in the first 15. But the West Coast Thunder, their desire to bring this game back to within reach has a lot to be applauded. You know, they kept the fight up for the full 60 minutes against the Victorians. Matt, what were your thoughts on the game?
Well, for one, amazing start by Victoria in the first quarter. If we're looking back to then, who can forget that it was actually 16-5. And that showed you couldn't be complacent because all of a sudden 24-18, 37-28, 46-41. That last quarter was not a good enough volume from the Victorians. WA really had more control of it, 13 goals through to 9. That's a win for WA just there. They've won that quarter. They'll walk away from this knowing that they've just won that one. They peg themselves back.
I am so looking forward to round 2 when these two teams meet later on in the week. And I'm excited. This is WA's first loss for the campaign so far. So they will come. I feel sorry for whoever they verse next because they're going to come out.
They will make sure that is a win. Amazing match. Incredible by both teams. I'm excited too.
And beautiful display of all the skills and talent that we have with men's netball.
Oh, it is.
What are you looking to slap one of the players from Victoria as a joke?
There's so much to take away from it. And I'm so looking forward, like you, for that next one. But my gosh, we need to rest and relax after this.
We need to rest and relax and come back tomorrow. Games kick off early at 9 o'clock in the morning. So please join us. My name is Mandy Love and Matthew Bomley signing off for now.